And of course, one of the big stories today is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is voting for its next president today after the 2022 economic meltdown. About 17 million of Sri Lanka's 22 million people are casting their votes. The voting across the country, 13,134 polling stations, will close in an hour. The counting of votes is expected to start at 9:30 p.m. At 12 p.m. local time, the voter turnout in all districts was 40% and more, the only exception being Matara and Muneragala. In both the districts, the turnout was under 35%. 35 cases of election law violations were reported during the first 3 hours of polling. The Minister of Public Security has said the curfew will be imposed if the need arises, and it will be enforced strictly if violence erupts. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe has called this election a turning point for the country as he cast his vote. Wickremesinghe is running for re-election as an independent candidate, building on the success of his efforts to steer Sri Lanka out of the 2022 economic meltdown, which triggered massive protests and forced Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee the country. Wickremesinghe is being challenged by Anurakumara Dissanayake from the Janata Vimukthi Peramuna party and Sajith Premadasa of the Samagi Jana Balevigaya party. Now, the election results will be declared on Sunday. A total of 38 candidates are vying to win the top executive post in the South Asian nation. Sri Lanka's first past-the-post system allows voters to cast 3 preferential votes for their chosen candidates, with the candidates securing 50% of the votes or more declared winner. Meanwhile, a total of 116 representatives from various international election observation organizations have arrived in Sri Lanka to monitor the upcoming presidential election. And of course, our correspondent Dasuni has been joining us live from Colombo with all the latest updates on the elections. Dasuni, we spoke a short while back. Good to have you with us again. Tell me, what is the latest with just little time left for the voting to close? What is it that you're seeing in number of the voter turnout, and what is it that you're hearing from people around you?
Well, yes, less than 60 minutes to go before polls close in this all-important presidential election. And what you see right behind me are election officials who will be involved in the ballot counting process here in the Colombo district, reporting to duty. I hope you can see it's a huge number of election officials that seem to be coming in a steady flow. They are now reporting to duty because they know after the clock strikes 4, all eyes will now be on them. The entire nation will want to know how its citizens have voted and who will be the coveted winner of the title of President of Sri Lanka. When we talk about voter turnout, yes, during the first 2 hours since polls opened, the turnout was in the 20 to 30 ranges. But as of right now, as of the information we've got regarding voter turnout at 2 p.m., a majority of electorates have now surpassed that 50% voter turnout. Some electorates have also recorded a 70% turnout. So with this, it will be interesting to see whether this election will surpass the 2019 presidential elections voter turnout, which was a hugely positive 80% plus overall voter turnout.
Dasuni, there were also cases of election violation that were reported. Could you shed some light on that?
Yes, there were several instances of election law violations and one altercation that had taken place, many of them outside Colombo and the suburbs of Colombo. Because of this is why Sri Lanka's public security minister has reiterated that if such tensions do persist and if they exacerbate beyond a level of control, that curfew might be imposed and stricter measures of security will be put in place. But with regards to Colombo, there hasn't been any form of violence. The entire election process has been largely peaceful and very well organized. We did go to several polls across Colombo and its suburbs, and that is what we saw. We saw that the system was quite organized. The voters were coming in a steady flow, and all of them were quite confident that given how tight this race is, that their candidate will have an edge over the other.
Thank you so much, Dasuni, for joining us with those updates from Colombo. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.